I was quite surprised by the performance uplift when playing Fortnite Reload using the entry-level cards from AMD's Xeon architecture. As I was finishing up the previous video, another question popped in my mind. How well does this new game mode play on meme cards? Now I don't have a GT 710 for this, so I decided to use the weakest cards that I have available. The HD 6670, a Terascale 2 based Radeon that makes with only 480 shader cores and no extra power connector, and the GT 430 based on the Fermi GF108 GPU, later on simply rebadged as Fermi GT 730. I also used the R750 as a comparison GPU, just to give an idea of how weak these two cards really are. As for the host platform, you've seen it in all the other videos. It's the same Z230 workstation using the Xeon equivalent of an i7-4770 and 32GB of dual-channel RAM. And just like in the previous video, we'll compare the performance in Reload mode with the performance in the current season's game map, that is Chapter 5 Season 3. At 1080 resolution, the two cards perform poorly in a regular match, and while the 23 FPS for the average is higher than 17, I would hesitate to call the HD 6670 a winner. And while the GT 730 does have its 1% loss at 12 FPS close to its average, the game experience is smooth but still crappy. Reload mode, however, more than doubles the performance, with the AMD card averaging above 60 FPS. The GT 730 manages 44 FPS on average and, more importantly, scores a similar value for the 1% loss as its AMD competitor. The Nvidia card does provide a better frame delivery, and the only thing to improve would be the average FPS. To do that, let's drop the resolution to 1600 by 900. As you would expect, the full-size map brings both cards to their knees, with the Radeon leading with its 30 FPS for the average. And while better than the 22 FPS that the Nvidia card got, the game experience is far from good, with 1% loss about 50% of the average. The Fermi card manages a similar 1% loss value, providing again a better frame delivery. Too bad that this happens in the below cinematic values. Reload mode again more than doubles those FPS values, and the HD 6670 manages an average in the high 70s. The 1% lows, while good enough for me, are quite a bit off from the average. The Fermi GT 730 almost reaches 60 FPS with similar 1% loss values as the AMD card. The frame delivery is better than what the Radeon has to offer, and the average is now in the playable territory. Despite dropping the resolution to 720, none of the two cards managed a decent experience in the main mode. The Radeon averaged just above 40 FPS and the Nvidia card just 30. The 1% lows were 28 for the AMD card and 21 for the Nvidia one. Both have a decent frame delivery now, but unfortunately the game experience is still bad. But does Reload save the day? I'm going to say yes to that one. Both cards average well above 60 FPS, with the Radeon taking the W at 102 FPS, compared to almost 80 of the GeForce card. Also, the 1% loss for both of them stay in the high 50s, and the game feels quite okay with both of them. Reload mode promises a faster gameplay, with plenty of respawns as long as one of the teammates is still alive. This then reduces the penalty of being eliminated, and encourages players to charge the enemy rather than build elaborate forts. This makes matches a lot more fun, and to no surprise, Reload mode is being played more than the main game mode. The small map has another advantage, a performance uplift between 2 and 3 times, and this means that this kind of fun can now be enjoyed by even more people. While we will revisit Fortnite Reload as part of a future video, this particular one is done. Thank you for watching, I hope you liked it, and I'll see you